The market started the week well, stock indices are renewing their highs, bond yields have fallen below 1.6, money from the aid package is already entering the markets. Now both S&P 500 futures and Asian indices are growing, while bond yields and the dollar index are declining. However, both growth and decline are very insignificant, and the situation can quickly change. What can spoil such a positive start to the week? March 16-17 FED meeting. Expectations: the rate does not change, the rhetoric is the same, the monetary policy does not change until the full recovery of the labor market and the economy as a whole. But if something else is suddenly said, for example, about a rapid economic recovery, increased inflation, the need to tighten monetary policy, the markets will go down. The second risk factor is the escalation of Quran psychosis. Do not forget that the elites are interested in maintaining the current situation, asset inflation, attacks on privacy, curbing cost inflation due to low consumption. Therefore, there may well be stories about new strains of the virus, problems with vaccines, new waves of the virus and other horrors on this topic. Review of the US stock market. S&P 500 Index. The S&P 500 is not very confident. Prices went back to their highs and are at the upper historical point. On the technical side, people just take profits since the markets have grown so well. Some believe that market growth has slowed down thanks to Biden's plan to increase corporate taxes to 28%, but these are only plans for the future and they obviously will not do it now. Are these methods advisable? On the one hand, it is possible, because the increase in taxes will allow attracting trillions of dollars to the US Treasury, but it seems to me that it would be much better to cut budget expenditures, but all these are particulars that have little to do with the market at the moment. It became known that about 40% of all financial aid can go to the US stock market, and this is certainly good news, as the markets will continue to grow in this case. Now let's move on to individual issuers. Apple shares. Today Apple shares are growing, but it is clear that in the general picture this growth is hardly noticeable, but this is a good reason to invest here while this opportunity is available. This company is a very strong blue chip in the American market and a lot depends on it in the entire world economy. Whole state funds are invested in the shares of this company and someone's future pension depends on it. If whole state funds are invested in it, then rest assured that this company has great reliability. Therefore, I would act with the shares of the Apple company in the framework of the strategy buyout drawdowns. It doesn't matter if this stock is rising or falling. With her, I personally am always sure that in the end I will make money on it. Microstrategy shares. This company has not been dismantled for a long time. This is what the news is about them when it comes to the $2.2 billion investment in Bitcoin. On the technical side, you can invest here, albeit with caution. It is important that the stop loss here should be placed behind the pin bar shadow at the swing support zone. I believe that there is every chance of updating the maximums here. The rally of cryptocurrencies is accompanied with a rally in all financial markets. The company correlates with the Bitcoin rate, so I advise you to take into account the trends in your own analysis. Palantir shares. Well, and one more company that has a keen interest. This is the Palantir company. We did a detailed review about it and made recommendations on how to buy it, and now there is another opportunity to add shares to the portfolio. I say right away that Palantir is part of a rather risky investment segment. Capitalization is still small, and therefore on this security you can do, as well as increased interest rates, and lose a lot. But I assure you that the potential here is many times greater than the risks. Palantir deals with state orders for the American Special Services, but in addition to this, the company also has private orders in the financial sector. The founders of the company are investors who are known as Mafia PayPal, and Peter Thiel is directly involved here. ARK Invest invested here as well. There is every chance of getting an update to the maximums. If you are not ready to take on such risks, then you can select a conservative share in your investment portfolio and use it. This way you can reduce the risks to your portfolio. It is better to set the stop loss behind the pin bar shadow. Take profit either on the renewal of the maximums, or sell the security at the end of the year. Forex Market Review for March 16. There were few interesting events on the currency market for the pairs of interest to us, but there are a number that are worth paying attention to. What are these events? You will learn right now. Currency pair EUR/USD. A cluster of candles has formed in the place where I recommended setting the first stop loss. Roughly speaking, it once again confirmed the dynamics on stock markets. Markets partly grew by sectors and some, on the contrary, fell, and therefore the euro-dollar was essentially moving in place. If the stop loss was hit, then there is an option to re-enter from a long candle. I am inclined to believe that the euro-dollar will go further higher, as a new stimulus package and support for the economy is being adopted. This should weaken the dollar more likely. Of course, everything can go wrong as originally planned, so a stop loss on a long candlestick is vital. If he gets shot down, then this is a direct signal that the situation has changed and we were wrong. But admitting that we are wrong will help us keep most of the deposit. USD/JPY currency pair. As for the yen, it continues to depreciate further at a rapid pace. Over the past period in 2020, the yen, on the contrary, has strengthened, since, together with the Swiss franc, it is considered a reliable and strong currency. Now we see the opposite story. I remember what I said about risk reduction, but I think that a new fresh wave is coming along the yen. Therefore, the recommendations here will be the same as before, when there is a clear and obvious trend. Speculate within the day with the trend.